This reaction is brought to you by my $5 or more supporters at coffee.com/Alex Haitz. I'd like to thank Andreas Gleisel, Jay Doob, Cole Alexander, Lukash Newman, Jag, Cedro Perez, Thin Ezzy, Willman, Lizardman, aka Bill, and Bin Thrifty for sponsoring this video, supporting me, my family, the channel. I appreciate it immensely, and I hope you all enjoy this reaction. Welcome everyone, welcome back to the microphones. We're doing the second album today. So, last where we left off, we listened to Don't Wake Me Up. And you know what? It was fine. It was fine. It wasn't great. It was good. Actually, like all the atmosphere stuff was there, you know, but I think it lacked some of that songwriting focus. And I'm very curious to see if our album today kind of hones that in. I'm expecting it to. Now, the thing is, like, this album, it's often compared to Glow Part 2 and is like, people say it kind of overshadows it, which I could see that being the case. So I'm actually very curious to see, like, if this just misses the mark for me, or if I'm just gonna like really dig it in the same way I dig the Glow Part 2. I don't know, but the day that this is coming out on YouTube should be Saturday. I should also be doing a live re-listen for the Glow Part 2 at the same time on the same day. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, check out the channel, because I may be doing that at the moment, or I'm about to, or just did, or whatever. Yeah, very excited to re-listen to the Glow Part 2, and I'm very excited to dive into the album that we have here today. For those who don't know, I do unedited reactions on my Coffee page, coffee.com/AlexHeitz. For $5 a month, you can get access to the whole back catalog of unedited reactions, and that dates back to Modest Mouse, which we were doing in like April of 2021. So it's been about 4 years of unedited reactions on the page. You can also hop in at the $1 per month level, and that gets you access to voting in polls that we do every like 2 to 4 albums, and we get to just kind of interject a random miscellaneous album into the mix. Kind of breaks up the monotony of going through a full artist discography binge. So if you want to support the channel, that'd be the place to do it. Also, quick shout out for NordVPN. Link in the description. If you're in need of a VPN, they have great speeds, great prices. Check them out. It was hot. We stayed in the water. Phil's cover art kind of drives me nuts sometimes, because like you look at the edge, it's much more easy to see like when it's like right here against like a background, but you can see that the edge, it's like there's the white background there because it's like pieces of stuff. Same with Glow Part 2. It has like a white trim around the edges, and it's like, ugh. It's not satisfying. It's a little weird and avant-garde. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Phil. You're doing it with your art as well. I actually don't know if he does all of his own artwork. It wouldn't surprise me if he does. Anyway, I'm very excited to listen to this album today. A year before Glow Part 2, and it has the Glow track, the 11-minute track, which I'm very excited to hear. It has a track called Sand, which is a cover by a song from Eric's Trip. Is that the name of the band? And it also has track one of the many tracks called Something, which I think he said, noting, Elvram cited something noting a certain person of the band The Blow wrote that song. That's her song. So cool. We have Karl Blau on here, a track also titled after him as well. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to like get into here. We got 11 tracks, 40 minutes, nice, tight, simple album. I'm going to try to follow along with the lyrics because I want to see if he's going to be in the air, if he is in the air, or he will be in the air, and etc. Apparently, this album is a trio of like albums themed about nature. So like this one's water, Glow Part 2 is fire, and Mount Erie is rock, which I think is interesting. I said it in the "Don't Wake Me Up" reaction, but like I'm so excited to like kind of follow the like lore and themes that Phil puts into his music through these albums, because I think that's going to be really cool and fascinating, and it will just fill out my indie music nerd card a little bit more. That's the whole point of this channel. Anyway, yeah, without further ado, I think we're just going to hop right on in to the first track. I don't think I had anything else to add, so let's begin with the first track, The Pole.
Body stopped moving and quickly got cold. I made my escape away to the blowy ocean side above the past day. Body wrapped in wool.
Okay. Interestingly enough, this, like, so far, one track in, but like so far, it feels like an exact middle ground between the first album and the Glow Part 2. Like, definitely feels more focused, but like it still has a similar atmosphere to the first album, where it's like, I don't know. The Glow is able to like take its time. Glow Part 2 is able to take its time and kind of like exploring different tones and vibes and soundscapes, hills and valleys, you know, and it's quite long, what, 20 tracks. But it's more of like a narrative kind of thing, you know, whereas with this, I'm not quite sure what to expect. Don't Wake Me Up didn't really feel like it had a super strong like narrative thread per se. It was just more of like a soundscape and an atmosphere to be in. With this, it's definitely more focused. And like I love how Phil is an inspiration as like an acoustic guitarist, because like his chord shapes, I don't know if he like messes around a ton with alternate tunings, but like that chord that's strumming through most of the song like feels like it wants to go somewhere, but like it kind of never does. And then like random little like melodies or guitar bits that just kind of fall back into that same chord give it that sense of unease, you know. Nice. Let's keep going. Ice. Sick. It's like the tape crackle is the fire crackle. That's so cool. Also, apparently, the album was recorded on analog tape, and re-recording is like very difficult. So like there's imperfections abound. Cool. Nice little, you know, classic Phil motif to just like change the song on a dime. Like I kind of do like some songs where I take two, sometimes three ideas of like just little demos or riffs that I have and kind of put them together. But I try to like make them match because, I try to make sane music, but these days I'm kind of leaning towards like making insane music. And Phil makes insane music at times, and I'm just so inspired, you know? That's cool. Next track, Sand. I'm eager to hear this.
In one thing that you say to me, how to talk it all just turns out to be on the stove, in the little tiny rooms that are friends to understand what you think about tiny rooms that our friend calls a home. My head filled with sand.
Nice. And that goes right into the glow. That was good. Like, I've said this before. Like, hard panning is super disorienting for me. And much in the way, like, I have, like, some picky eating that's continued into my adult life. It's mainly, like, texture problems. So, like, mac and cheese, casseroles, anything, like, soups, chilies, anything that's, like, mostly gooey, I guess. Like, it makes me gag. And it's, like, really unfortunate because, like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's Southern comfort food. And I'm like, it's more like Southern stress food for me. When I hear hard panning, it's like the ear imbalance. Like I also had like a like a earwax clog in this ear that lasted like a few months until I like went to the doctor because it had gotten so bad. Like my balance was all messed up. So I kind of have that. Like it kind of goes back into that kind of thing. It's like it's not the song's fault. It's not the casserole's fault. It's just my own issues. So it's like in that way, it's like it's a little disorienting to hear, but nice little softer, more poppy track, which is you hear that on the Glow Part 2 for sure. So it tracks so far. I'm liking the direction this is going, but it hasn't really like got any hooks into me yet. But the Glow, maybe it will now.
The blow came down from the hills. Oh, blow. I could feel far off the glow, and I made buried in snow.
Listen close, warm up and come down.
I started to glow. And it felt just like we swam till it got light, 'cause the blue was in my eyes. We sank and we arrived.
Damn. That's a 5. Easy 5. Phil pulling out the easy 5s. Man, yeah, so like very much in the Glow Part 2 vein in terms of that, like using phrasing, genre switch ups to like inform the storytelling of what's going on was really cool because like obviously the motif of the glow and then like how the song starts and then it kind of changes up when like the glow starts to speak up. And then it like turns into basically a pop song, like a kraut rocky, space rocky pop song. And then like as it kind of gets like more dark, like then that EQ pass goes over and it goes like it's just the low frequencies. And then the outro is really nice too. Awesome. I love it. That's what I wanted. That's the kind of song I wanted, Gov. Karl Blau. I'll probably love this one too because apparently it's like a doo-wop Brill Building-esque track, which is some of my favorite type of pop songwriting. So let's go.
Blue moon waited out past the wave swells, told us to stop treading water. Down, he held at his hand. He didn't listen, he swam off alone. Caught up on his own, he said someday the moon, now it must drift along.
Wow. What a soft little sweet track. Not the best, but not bad. Nice little interlude maybe before we get into what's sure to be just drums.
Blue moon.
No. Next one. That's why you make sure all your tracks are the same sample rate so that they don't fall out of sync. Okay? It's actually a lot of fun. There's something about the like from like 50,000 drum kits while people in the back are going like woo woo woo. I don't know. There's something attractive about that. That might be another 5, ironically, but not really. The Gleam. So there is a Gleam Part 2 on Glow Part 2. I don't quite remember what it sounds like. So I'm eager to see if this is like sonically similar, like compositionally. Let's go. Okay, so that definitely is not like anything I heard on the other album. Cool though. Just straight film, man. Straight filmin'. Straight Phil Hartman. What if Phil Hartman made this? That'd be awesome. Anyway, not a lot to say on that. I'm digging this. I'm digging this. I wasn't sure with the first 3 if it was going to be like I don't know, because there wasn't a whole lot on Don't Wake Me Up that like caught me, you know, where I'm like, ooh, yeah, like any one particular track, except for like the title track, maybe. And there's a couple others that like are cool, but yeah, once I got to The Glow, I'm like, he's doing it, man. He's really doing it. The Breeze. Cool. I dig. It it started off super experimental. Like I couldn't get like my footing tonally at all. Like what key are we in? And then it just kind of like once the guitar came in, it just kind of settled into something really nice. Man, I love Phil's work with like harmonium and organ stuff, like that kind of wind sort of thing. Man, I'm just super into it right now. I'm using harmonium in like almost everything that I make right now. And maybe it's a bit much, but like, I don't know. It sounds cool. What can I say? Something. Eager to hear this one.
Air around us was blinding. The foggy sea was loud behind it. Breath breathed its water into our lungs. And we I saw something in the sand that swept me off my feet.
Rolling out in tight toes, and rising back in misty wave floating up its boiling strength. And with the faster moment when the time slows, the air gets so wide and thick.
Damn. How he do it? That was sick. I love how it started with like honestly basic doo-wop chords. 1 6 4 5, very common. And then like got more intense and then came back in with what's her face? Sorry, I can't Kayla. From The Blow. The Blow and the Glow. Oh, it all makes sense. And she kind of came back into doing that motif and then like, man, that outro was cool. That's cool. Also, Phil never goes where you think he's going to go with a melody or a chord, except when he really, really leans into it, like in a pop sense. Like, I remember when I got to the point in The Glow Part 2 when you get to I'm Bored, and it's just like this indie pop song with like whole tone melodies, and you're like, whoa. It's like sometimes he really leans into that and goes like almost so predictable that it's like more satisfying. It's weird. I don't know how he does it. Between your ear and the other ear.
Pulling a string.
I gotta get into some freak folk, dude. That's just the way it needs to be. All right. I didn't know it could be like this. Man, the dissonance and like the gotta be intentional, like detuned sound of it. Also, like, were those chords, man? Like, I couldn't make out any of those notes. It's such a strange vibe, I guess, but it's like super compelling when it's like when it's so oddly specific and strange and you've never heard it before, but you're like, this makes complete sense. Like, I know exactly, this is making me feel a certain way that not really anything else in art does. And you just got to be like, hats off. Organs, final track. This is more like droney ambient. Could be cool. Man, what like an ominous final track to lead into like one of the best indie albums, period. Jeez. That's crazy. That was cool. I like the I'm always impressed with like very textured drone that's able to just kind of hang on like one set of notes. There's definitely some like phaser stuff going on where like some frequencies were kind of bending a little bit. And then just the hard cut was cool. Really interesting. Okay, so that is It Was Hot, We Stayed in the Water. It is a great album. That's like an easy 4 out of 5 for me. The start was interesting. Honestly, solid way to kind of come off of the Don't Wake Me Up thing and then like really hitting it with the glow. And that's just totally a look forward into a lot of the sensibilities in this track, The Glow, reappear on the Glow Part 2 album all over the place. So that's cool to see. Karl Blau, really cool throwback song. Drums was a lot of fun. Gleam is just classic microphones. The Breeze and Something were really fascinating. Between Your Ear and the Other Ear was like mesmerizing. The strange cadence of those guitars, and then just organs, which I'm now realizing isn't like bodily organs. It's like the instrument. That just clicked for me. Wow. I don't know why like I read that and I'm like, oh, he's talking about like my blood. Poor Phil. The tragic thing is it's August 27th. September's coming up. Yikes. I just noticed something. He released this album and The Glow Part 2 in September, as he did with Little Bird, but not Mount Erie. That was January. What about Microphones in 2020? That was August. Dang, I thought he was going to be like, I'm always releasing in September. That'd be like a next level thing to be like, imagine if Boards of Canada did that, where like you charted out a pattern of like when they've released their albums and then ask ChatGPT to like map it out and predict when the next Boards of Canada album drops. And it'll be like 2174. Like, oh, we got to invent cryogenic freezing, guys. Hurry up. We need them to make Constants or Changing Part 2. Sorry. Anyway, this album rocks. It's not as good as Glow Part 2, clearly, but then again, what is? Overshadowed, yeah, but also, like, there is a sense of, and there's been other pieces of art in other mediums even I've come across that do this, which I'll give an example for in a second, where this has some ideas A lot of the ideas on this album are better executed on the Glow Part 2. In a way where it's like the things that these tracks on It Was Hot made me feel, I felt more powerfully and potently on the Glow Part 2. I think that's kind of the issue here. Like this by itself is great. This compared to Glow Part 2 is like, okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know it's not fair to compare, but like having listened to both, like there is that friction between the two that just kind of exists in your head, at least for me. But like I think of like one of my favorite movies of all time, The Wages of Fear, 1950s, I believe, French movie. It's awesome, like absolutely incredible in almost every way. And then was it Friedkin? Was it William Friedkin, right? Did Sorcerer in the 70s or 80s. Let me look this up. 1977, directed by William Friedkin. And it was also an adaptation of the Wages of Fear novel by Georges Arnauld. Which, hold on, what year did this come out? 1953 was the original French movie. The novel's from 50. And then in 1977, Friedkin did Sorcerer. And it's notably different in a lot of different ways, but like it doesn't hit the same kind of peaks and notes that The Wages of Fear from 1953 can for me, where that's like the complete package that does so many things perfectly. And then like Sorcerer is, you know, a nice action thriller with some 70s vibe over it instead. It's not as like contemplative and existential like the 53 novel movie was. This is, you know, doesn't mean a whole lot to people who haven't seen either. If you haven't seen The Wages of Fear, please go watch it. It's the best thriller I have ever seen in my entire friggin' life. But I think that's what's going on with It Was Hot to some degree, where like overshadowed isn't quite the word, because that just implies that like attention is over there. And that's not really what's going on here, because when you look at this, it's like, yeah, really good. But like some of the tricks it tries to pull, it pulls better on Glow Part 2. So, or he pulls better on Glow Part 2. I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. But all that being said, amazing album. Really nice. Glad I finally listened to this. We'll definitely be re-listening to a lot of this in the future. And I'm just really excited to re-listen to Glow Part 2 and get into Mount Erie. 2003. Gosh, what a lineup he's got coming up. So excited for that. Okay, everybody. That is all I have. I hope you're all doing well. Things to plug yet again, coffee.com/AlexHeitz. $5 a month gets you access to unedited reactions, of which this is one of them. And $1 a month gets you access to voting in the polls for picking miscellaneous albums to throw into the mix. Also got to shout the Discord, link in the description for that. Got about almost 200 members over there, I believe. And it's not super active, but I will post like links to unlisted album reactions ahead of time as early access. I'll post when I'm going live on YouTube or Twitch, that kind of stuff. So if you want to join the community of this, man, that's where you do it. Okay, that's all I got. What a nice listening session. I enjoyed myself. Phil took me on a wild ride through the Pacific Northwest with some bouts of depression and moments of warmth, as I exactly wanted him to. And I have no complaints, so I hope you don't either. That's all I got, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more microphones coming down the pipe. And until next time, take care. Fare thee well. Godspeed.